Does your memory glitch when I'm in the red? Do my losses taste like things you never said? Was your patience just a paper thin hedge? Or were you always short on the emotional edge? Cause I get the sense you track my worth in the swing between my gains and hurt. You said you liked me when I cared less. Translation, like me most when I obsessed. You watch the candles rise and fall, but never ask what that does at all to someone who bets with bleeding teeth and stares down wrist just to feel relief. Do you only love me when I'm green? When the chart is smooth, the tape is clean? Would you kiss me through a margin call, or cash me out before the fall? Do you only call when I'm up bad? You ghost when the VIX spikes mad. Is it me you want, or the version who wins? Or are you just here till the trend thins?
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Oh, we did it again, family. We did it again, Goonie Gang. The market went from looking not so good yesterday afternoon to looking pretty good in pre-market trading. In fact, in pre-market trading, we've already taken out the highs from yesterday on both the SPY and the Qs. The Russell IWM crushing it. Bitcoin trading at 119,000. Folks, it's crushing. I don't know what you want me to say, but look at the pre-market trading. That CPI report coming out at 8:30, slightly less than expected. And now the market we're on one. Once again, we are in that territory of a new all-time high. So I'm very, very, very excited about that. Obviously, pour one out for all those people who fumbled their calls yesterday as they saw things going down. Like, no, I don't want to deal with the overnight swing. I hope they did not lock in a loss on any of that. At least, fingers crossed that it was break even at worst, I should say. So obviously, we're going to be going over the CPI report this morning. Clearly, we're going to do that. I do also have some news on individual equities, overall market situation. We're going to talk a little bit about crypto. And ideally, then we get all the way to market open and we make some money there. So I'm very excited to see where all my accounts open up. So hopefully it's a good day for all of us. Hopefully it's a very green day for all of us. But before I get to that, I do need to share a story with you, if you guys don't mind, as we wait for people to trickle in and all of that. Oh, I should also probably show you this of, today, Public is the stream sponsor. Legally, I have to show you this disclosure. If you are involved in the markets, there is a risk of you not doing so well. So you should know that. But obviously, sign up for Public. It's pinned to the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. As you're about to see, I have about $300,000 with them. And the reason I have pretty much my entire net worth with Public is because I trust them the most. So check those out. Check that out. Love them. Best place to trade options, in my humble opinion. Pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. But with that being said, I need to share a story with you. As many of you know, yesterday I was in Toronto. To get to Toronto, you have various modes of transportation available to you. You could fly. You could bus. You could bike. You could skateboard. You can rollerblade. You could swim. You have many options available to you. I decided to take the first option of embarking on a metal bird that traverses the sky with haste. Some of you refer to this as a plane, an airplane. Many of you also know that an airplane technically, most commonly, leaves from an airport. To get onto this plane, you have to go to an airport and you have to go through security and customs and get your boarding pass. And it's a whole process for people who have never heard of airports, but airports are where airplanes live. It's their home base. It's where they get food. It's where they get rest. It's just how it works. I didn't come up with the rules. It's just how it goes. Sometimes when you are at a said airport waiting for your airplane, you're going to notice that there are also other people doing the same thing. And sometimes, especially within this particular location, airports tend to bring out the best, worst, the worst, best in people. People, for whatever reason, you get to an airport and people just behave differently for whatever reason. I don't know why. I don't know if it's what they put in the air. I don't know if it's the chemtrails. I don't know what it is. But airports bring the best, worst out in people, the worst, best in people, and it is what it is. And I, a self-proclaimed people watcher, truly enjoy it. I love the show. I love it. I love it. I love it. I absolutely love being able to watch people outside of their element just to see how things go. So as I was waiting to embark on my metal bird to traverse the sky with haste to get up to Toronto, I had a lot of time to kill because, like a middle-aged dad, your phone gets an alert of, hey, you have an international flight. You should get there 18 hours early because, you never know how long the line's going to be. So this time I haven't been to international in a couple months. I was like, you know what? Maybe the line's bad. Weird things are happening with United. Weird things are happening with Newark. So I showed up early and guess what? It took me 7 fucking minutes to get through everything. So I had a lot of time to kill. A lot of time to kill, which means I had a lot of time to people watch. And folks, I'm here to report that I saw, hang on, my allergies I can't find allergy pills. I should have bought some. That's on me. I am here to report I saw one of the most interesting / disturbing things you could ever witness in an airport. Definitely has shaken me to my core as a human, has made me reconsider airport etiquette. And I just want to share it with all of you because maybe I'm looking a little bit too far into it, or maybe in fact I met a legitimate crazy person. When I was waiting, whatever, people are drinking, you eat food, and for whatever reason, when it comes to the latter option of food, I feel like there's like set things that people get, like whatever, it's a burger, it's a sandwich, it's a salad, like it's whatever food. And I noticed a lady eating corn on the cob just by herself. She brought it. She self-packed corn on the cob, broke that Ziploc open, pulled out a hunk of corn on the cob, which I assume was still cold because, like, how would you have eaten up. So I think she was literally just eating cold corn on the cob. Like, that's actually fucking clear. Like, that's insane, right? Like, I didn't know what to do. Like, my body kind of froze, and not just even physically my body, my brain even started to break. I was like, do I have to call like the insane asylum? Like, did someone escape? A fucking cold entire thing, like the whole thing, a cold corn on the cob. And I don't know, folks. Like, is that legal? Like, I thought we lived in a society, and I didn't realize that we were back into the Thunderdome where like just anything goes. But literally just how do you get that through security? Like, did that not spark any problems whatsoever of just like, what do you got in your pocket there? Like, are you happy to see me? Ha ha ha, TSA. And then she just whips out an entire cob of corn. I don't understand. I thought we were past this as a civilization. I thought we stopped just doing completely insane things, but here we are. I think I met literally the craziest person I've ever met in my life a mere 2 days ago, and like I said, I'm still a little. I hear jealousy. Yeah, that's actually what this is. Like, fuck. Like, why can't that be me? So anyway, if I see a little bit off today, it's not because of my allergies. It's not because I can't find my allergy pills, which I very wish I could find like a Zyrtec or something. That's not why I'm off my game today. I'm off my game today because I think in the airport I met the craziest person you could ever meet. So I'm sorry if you're just something's a little shaken to my core because, you know, was it buttered? No. I think, to be fair, it might have been. I wasn't like close enough. I didn't like sprint over to the lady and say, "What are you doing?" But I definitely was watching her with my eyes like pretty wide of like, what the fuck is going on? Like trying to sneak a picture real quick of like, boop, clip. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't think there was butter on it. I think it was just an entire cold corn on the cob that she somehow brought to the airport. And the amount of decisions that had to go into that, like, all right, packing bag. Oh, we got that. All right, I need a snack. All right, like I have beef jerky. I have some Cheez-Its, but I think there's fucking one more piece of corn in the cob there. I think there's one more piece of corn in the cob in the fridge, so I might snag that. Yeah, that's a good idea. Oh, okay, I'm not gonna eat it in the Uber. Oh, all right, we'll go through airport. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know, man. It's crazy to me. Anyway, what's also crazy to me is the overall stock market is looking pretty good. You can see the SPY started to rip it at 8:30 because of the CPI report. So did the NASDAQ and especially the Russell. The Russell's actually currently benefiting the most off of this pre-market pop. Obviously, fingers crossed that it holds, but 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour, all bullish. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour, all bullish. In fact, let me set up my alert to know when we take out this 4 hour high, and hopefully we are doing that today. Dow futures rallied 200 points after lighter than expected inflation data. So let's check this out. They expected 2.8%. It came in at 2.7. So are we still above the target of 2%? We are. So we're above what really the Fed's mandate is. But hey, at least we are doing better than what Wall Street thought it was going to be. This is a little bit more complicated for the Fed now. Core CPI inflation rises to 3.1% above the expectations of 3%. But remember, they want that down at 2%. Core CPI inflation is now above 3% for the first time since February of 2025. So remember, when we're talking about core, as in not headline, core, you take out food and energy. That's not part of the calculation. And then you also might hear this term super core, which is when you also take out like shelter and housing. So anyway, just to clarify some of the terms. So the headline number, better than expected. So obviously that's a pretty big win. And for those of you who are checking out the Fed Watch Show, and I'll be coming back to this, the odds of a rate cut in September, the mid-September rate cut, did go from 82 to 90% this morning. So we're pretty confident we're getting a rate cut in the next meeting. And then by the end of the year, there's a 1 in 3 chance that we have 2 rate cuts. And now there's a 55% chance, a better than a 1 in 2 chance, that we actually have a 75 bips rate cut by the end of this calendar year. I just fast forward to the December meeting. And remember, you can check this out. It's the Fed Watch tool. It's the CME group. if you want to see these odds and how it changes. So that was one of the major impacts of the announcement that we got this morning with this. But obviously, I think for you guys in here, what you care more about is the market spiking in response to a bit of excitement that money is about to be cheaper in mid-September. Remember, the Fed, and when it starts to cut rates, it's going to be most impactful on the 2-year, but it's going to have other far-reaching ripple-esque effects, and one of the major ones is that the yield's going to come down, bonds are going to pop, and inherently money itself becomes cheaper, which you guys know about cheap money. It's kind of what makes the world go round. So I'm going to give you more details on this, but we should take a second to talk about some of the larger picture stuff right now. Trump extends China truce for 90 days, averting the tariff hike. So this was some of the hot news yesterday. I thought that the market would really do better. Well, we were doing fine up until about 1 p.m. And then out of nowhere, the big guys started to sell, whether they were going short, whether they were locking in profits, maybe they didn't want to take risk of the inflation report, whatever it was. I thought this itself would be a little bit more optimistic. Granted, the overall Trump volatility has been waning and waning and waning, as in when he announces anything that's perceived to be good or bad related to the trade war, the impact is getting less and less and less in both directions. So even though I would argue this is a bit positive, we're just not seeing the Trump effect, the Trump trade effect really anymore. But this is the hot news from yesterday, so I want you to listen to this from Bloomberg.
On April 2nd, President Donald Trump made good on a promise.
Starting tomorrow, the United States will implement reciprocal tariffs on other nations.
That oversized printout represented a seismic protectionist shift in U.S. policy.
Very quickly after the announcements, we started seeing other world leaders talking about potentially negotiating or retaliating.
It's definitely the biggest shock to the global trading system that we've seen since World War II.
Trump's tariff wrecking ball careens through the markets.
Not Liberation Day, but Obliteration Day.
Whose throat do I get to choke if this proves to be wrong?
There's only a few events that rank up there with the kind of losses that we've seen in U.S. financial markets in particular.
Major global indices nosedived, including the S&P 500, the FTSE 100, the Nikkei 225, and Germany's DAX. Over a handful of days, business leaders and investors piled pressure onto the administration amid plummeting markets and palpable fears of a global recession.
Quick pause. Do you guys remember, I get that this is a holistic piece of reporting on the situation, but remember being there in real time, that we started to figure out things were a little bit funky in late February, early March. And then we had this initial sell-off where people were like, okay, wow, but we're kind of redoing global trade and whatnot. And people kind of calmed down heading into the end of March. There was this period, and I get it. Technically what Bloomberg is saying here is accurate. But do you guys remember the day-to-day, just kind of the generic fear and panic? And if anything, I think the most accurate term is the fear-mongering of mainstream media of the amount of stuff I saw of this is different. Trump is going to ruin the economy. Trump is going to ruin the stock market. We're never coming back from this. How many comparisons did we see to the Great Depression, the financial crisis? And then people love to bring it to the next level, but this one's worse. And that it was nothing but pure panic. And then all of a sudden, they got real quiet real quick when we started to grind it back up. And they're like, okay, but we're still down. It could be better. And then we had another push. And this is really when they the Trump haters started to get a bit quiet. And then when we got on this path, especially when we started to get into the generic territory of the previous all-time high, crickets. And then as it kept going and going and going and going and going, nothing whatsoever. To see how quickly that all changed, I think that needs to be studied, just sociology in general of the hate, and everyone wanted to pile on, not even just mainstream media, but you saw it on Twitter, you saw it on Reddit, you probably saw it on friends and families, on your Facebook posts and whatnot. They're this is the worst thing ever. And in reality, it was brutal for a second there, but this is a blip in the whole picture. This stuff happens, and should remind you that once again, we're back at a new all-time high. So just to see how wild this has all been, and to notice what is driving the revenue. What drives revenue at mainstream media is going to be what drives clicks. And what they do with clicks is, apparently the Trump handbook is literally just say like the most out-of-pocket negative sentiment thing possible, and it just gets clicks and clicks and clicks. When the Trump administration does something dumb, I am more than happy to call it out, and to the point that even people on Rumble who for some reason, oh, hey, how are you today? Did you know you're the reason I'm so sniffly this morning? Even to the point that Rumble's like, this is Trump derangement syndrome, which I think is complete bullshit. Well, did you just fall? She's not the most athletic cat. I'll be honest about that. But then on the flip side, when things are obviously going well, like clearly this is proof that the U.S., though not technically over, did win the trade war. Like clearly that, like, this is it. It is right there. It is in our face. As true as it is that, whatever, the Trump administration with Bissett and Lutnick and Hassett and everyone else, Navarro, won this, you could simultaneously say it's also real that, like, what's another factual thing that's real on the other side? Oh, that it's weird what they did with the Epstein list. It cuts both ways. Like, yeah, this is true. From a market economic standpoint, they crush it. It's also equally true that on the other side, like, they completely mismanaged the Epstein stuff. Dude, are you all right? Are you drunk right now? I'm trying to run a show. She has no respect for my profession. Like, literally no respect for my profession. Like, she knows I'm trying to work. She knows it's a school day. And here I am trying to have a serious conversation. Speaking of the trade war, Trump opened to NVIDIA selling scaled-back Blackwell to China. So, some of the recent hot news, and I covered this yesterday in Toronto, was the whole AMD, NVIDIA announcement of 15% of their sales are going really to the government. And what does that mean? And then what are going to be the trade rules with some of our higher-end chips to China? And what does that individually mean for companies like NVIDIA and whatnot? And I guess Trump's a bit more receptive. Trump says he's open to letting NVIDIA sell downgraded version of its most advanced chip to China. So this obviously, like, kind of, I would say, double good news of like, okay, he's willing to negotiate there. Generically, there's another 90 more days. So, like, I get that the market did not have the best time into close yesterday. I get it. I'm right there with you guys. But I would say the overall context for the situation, it is pretty good. But obviously, that is one man's opinion. China urges firms to avoid NVIDIA H20 chips after Trump ends ban. So, the semiconductors, in my opinion, are still the hot thematic investment of what in the world is going on. So with this, hopefully, on top of the cool inflation, I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit too biased, maybe I'm a little bit too close to it, but I'm really happy with what I'm seeing right now. Really, really happy. This jumped even more. Now there's a 94% chance of a 25 bips rate cut in that September meeting. Every time we check on this, dude, you got to sit down or something. We're about to start trading. You got to get your tail off the screen. Feels pretty unprofessional today. Well, just in case you weren't up in time, you might have missed it. At 8:30 a.m. ET, we did get the CPI report. It came in 1/10 lighter than expected, and that's exactly what the market needed to give us this, like, basically God candle. We just exploded to the upside on everything. So if you're just joining in right now and you're like, why did everything go from red yesterday to super green this morning? It's because of that 8:30 a.m. announcement. And also a shout out to all of you. I know someone in here had to do it. Raise your hand if you degenerately did the 50-50 Apex strategy to pass one of your tests. I know someone in here did it, and obviously congrats to you because you just passed that test super easily. Very quickly, with respect to individual companies, Circle this morning, I want to talk about that, but more importantly, I want to let you know after the market closes today, CoreWeave, Rigetti, and Kava are all reporting. You should also know that Cisco's tomorrow. Maybe some of you have that. Later on this week, JD and John Deere. But CoreWeave, I do know, is somewhat popular in this community, and so is Rigetti. So I just wanted to put that out there. Circle shares rise on second quarter revenue jump of 53% on strong stable coin growth. So the crypto sphere, well, more specifically the stable coin sphere, getting some interesting numbers. Not really related to earnings, but important individual equity news. Musk threatens immediate legal action against Apple over alleged antitrust violations. Basically, he thinks that Apple and Tim Cook are giving OpenAI preference on their phone, and he wants it to be more fair across the entire ecosystem. Now, does he have a real claim? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but I just want to let you know that's what's going on. And if it really does get to a lawsuit, which I doubt it will, but if it does, that could obviously involve Apple, OpenAI, and probably even Microsoft to a certain extent. So I just wanted to share what's going on there just in case it becomes a bigger story. If you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter, mattkohrs.locals.com. It's 100% free. It's always been free, always will be free. Comes to your email inbox every single Sunday. I break down what's going on in the market, cheat sheet for earnings, cheat sheet for the major macroeconomic events. Obviously, we already got through the one of the day, the CPI report. And then probably most useful is the seasonality of each day. For this particular week, Monday was the only slight bearish day. This is the hypothetical equity curve you would have if you bought at open, sold at close on the S&P 500 futures market. But for the remainder of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, basically leaning bullish, and then actually bullish. So for the remainder of this week, from a seasonality standpoint, which is not necessarily the end-all be-all, but I would argue it's important to still know it does favor the bulls. So check that out. And yeah, we still have time. So there was one little extra story that I wanted to cover with you. I have no idea if this is going to have a major impact on the market. I definitely don't know if it's bullish or bearish, but it's just something we should pay attention to because it easily has that capability. Russia has high hopes for the Trump-Putin summit. Peace isn't one of them. The meeting represents a victory for Putin, who seeks to end the international isolation and separate Russian ties with the U.S. from the fate of Ukraine. So there's a lot of murmurs of who's going to be at this meeting. It could be going down this week, not technically etched in stone. If you look at the call sheet betting market, you know that the odds of them meeting this week are continuing to go up and up and up. And then there's even a chance that Zelensky might be included. So if this were to all happen and it all goes well, it could be the end of conflict. And obviously, markets love removing uncertainties. On the flip side, things could, I guess, figuratively blow up, and all of a sudden the tensions could get even worse. So I have no Mystic Matt prediction of how this will impact the market. I'm just letting you know it's probably something you should pay attention to. Trump downplays the expectations for the summit deal with Putin, so maybe he even knows like nothing too special is going to come from it. President Donald Trump is downplaying expectations for his upcoming meeting with the Russian leader Vladimir Putin, calling it a feel-out meeting. So I guess they're just going to be filling each other up, I suppose. I don't really know. I wasn't invited. Maybe I'll get a last-second ticket, a last-second invite. But obviously, we will find out very, very soon. So that's pretty much everything I have right now. Obviously, at Market Open, we have 2 minutes, so I need you guys to vote. Matt Kohrs, actually, right now in chat, I do want to show you that I was good. I wasn't degenerately trading this morning. Even though there was a pretty sweet opportunity all the way back here when we were rippity-skippity-doodah, I did sit there patiently. I was disciplined, monk-like discipline. Did I want to buy this? Of course I did. Did I want to buy this recovery right here? Of course I did. Would I have made a lot of money? Yeah, 41, 60, 80 points right there. That's not a bad payday. But I didn't because I was disciplined, and I'm letting Skynet lead me to the promised land. So I have some of my Tradeify accounts, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 of them are in the green, net green. 2 of them are in the red, net red. All my Apex accounts, they're up about 1.2K. And then I also have 2 take profit accounts that are up just under 1K. So that's the situation. Of course, I also have my swing plays as well with options. I'll show you guys that in a second. But I just want to let you know that I was good. I was disciplined. I didn't do anything absurdly stupid before market open. But this is going to get going because they're going to fire off in about 1 minute. So when that happens, obviously, I'm going to give you guys the options flow. You can see we popped up until about 12:30 yesterday, and then we dropped. Same thing on the SPY. We popped up until about 12:30, and then we started to drop. Of course, we could always check out what's going on the Gamma map, and I'm going to be talking about Public a little bit later today, but basically the TLDR is this is by far my favorite brokerage to play options on because you get a rebate. No other brokerage gives you a rebate, so if you're an options trader, this is exactly where you should be because it's just financially the right thing. Like in my opinion, it's like the superior thing to do. So make sure to check that out. It's free to download, free to sign up. It's pinned to the top of chat. And on that note, we should be rocking here pretty soon if I set Skynut up properly.
Order
Okay,
submitted.
we are going.
Order filled.
All right, trade one locked in. Was there already a little bit of slippage? You bet your bottom dollar. It looks like we're already off to the tune of 100%. Some of these made $72. Some of these made $150. But that is the life of me. I cannot seem to figure out the slippage issue, and I really don't mind if it benefits me. But some days it very much does not. I mean, I've noticed the data streams that come from Tradeovate are better than the ones. And when I say better, I'm defining it as more accurate. So for example, Tradeify, which is built on top of Tradeovate data, $75 before commissions. Same thing with Take Profit, $75 before commissions. So these were whatever. They're the exact same value. But then if you go over to Apex, which unfortunately I made the improper decision of using Rhythmic, you can see that's where things get a little bit more wonky. So I'm just pointing out that if you are trying to decide between Rhythmic data and Tradeovate data, my personal suggestion would be without a doubt, go with Tradeovate. Maybe one of these days, Rhythmic will be able to improve it. I hope that they can for everyone like me and you who's using it. That would be super, super nice. But alas, as of right now, just from my personal experience, I would very, very, very much recommend to all of you that the best thing to be doing is to be going with Tradeovate data. It just seems to be a little bit more accurate. Feels like there's less slippage. You don't have the account disconnect issues. So once again, my own opinion, do with that with whatever you want. But my own opinion is go Tradeovate data. Matt, when you were trading manually, you would stay in a position for minutes at a time, but now you've been using your automated system. You stay in a position for seconds at a time. Why is that? Because you cannot trade as quickly. You can't execute trades that quickly when you're doing it manually, especially on so many accounts. But just locked in a second trade. Sick. Trade 2 looking good. Looks like some of these did end up skipping today. So the one that's not going to be trading anymore, we'll disable that. This one skipped today because the setup was not there. Disable that. This one did trade today. That did hit. Sick. All right. I'm just doing the management just to make sure nothing goes funky on me. But you can see we've already had 2 trades today. Sorry, the second one traded. You guys probably saw it on the screen and whatnot when it happened. Why is this? Well, that's not right. You probably saw it right here. A little bit of a negative momentum thing that it just saw. But once again, slippage. So 2 trades in, 145. So all of the Tradeifys are good and all of the take profits are pretty much where they should be at. And then surprise, surprise, we're seeing on the exact same trades at the exact same time, already quite a bit of slippage on the Apex. They are anywhere from 175 on the day all the way up to, what's the biggest one? 260 maybe? So yeah, we're seeing the slippage differential today already of 260 all the way down to 145. Once again, same trade, same time, same size, and we're seeing $120 difference already. So whatever, that's where it is. I'm not going to complain that much if the slippage is making me money, of course. Like if it happens to be slipping and getting me extra profits, I'm not going to complain, but I do need to sit here actively and like manage everything just in case things get a bit wonky on me. All right, I'm getting up the options flow for you right now. Here's the options flow of the Mag 7 from market open till now, trending generically to the upside. Same thing with the S&P 500, and it just got a flow alert. I think I forgot to do this, and I'm sorry for that. Because this is actually really important today. We've already taken out the high from yesterday, so that's looking pretty good. Here are all the key levels I'm paying attention to for the S&P 500. Meta's getting a breakout. Hang on. Meta breakout. Yeah, that's looking good. Meta. Fuck. Do I want that? Yes or no? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Do I play Meta right now? Folks, my financial health is in your hands. It is a nice technical breakout. All right, Meta currently trading at 786. Let's zoom in and see some of these levels. 786. Oh, it's right at this resistance. But if it goes, it could go to 800. Long calls. So long calls at 770, 780. Sold calls at 785. Like literally where it's at. People were basically playing it's not going to exceed the previous high right here. Sold calls at 785. Sold calls at 785. I mean, I suppose you could just use that as your short-term risk. Oh, maybe. How much do I like this? I'm trying to think if I really like this position or not, because the risk is getting all the way knocked back. Here, the range, it's a range breakout. You're risking about $30 on this range. There is this resistance at 800. That's only $15 of upside. So it's your risk is 2x your reward, which is not asymmetric in your favor, but the momentum is clearly up, and it is a Dawn chain breakout. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Bitcoin's picking up. Small caps are looking good. Some flow alerts there. The Mag 7 popped until about 9:35. We're climbing early this morning. So the SPY's already taken out the high from yesterday, which means that there's a 77% chance that we close out the day above 635.92, yesterday's closing value. The same can be said about the NASDAQ when it exceeds 576.80. Once again, looking forward to take out yesterday's high. And then there's better than a 3 in 4 chance that we close above the previous close. That's not the most useful statistic when it comes to the world of like linear bets, but it is pretty useful when it comes to the world of selling premium. So remember, because like I'm just saying the chance of closing above this, that doesn't mean we keep trending. It just means like literally at 4 p.m. there's a 3 in 4 chance that we will close above 635.92. It could be to the tune of a cent. It could be to the tune of many, many dollars. Like both would technically be true. So like I said, that stat, not the most useful for the, wait, Robinhood's picking up too. I still have that position. We have a lot to manage. What time is it? I can't forget that I still have the bot running, but I do want to. Okay, so Hood is up 3%. I need to look at the key Hood levels. Here's Hood. 16, 17, 19. Yeah, 16, 17, 19. If it can hold 16, which it did not yesterday, it can go through 17 up to 19. That's what I'm like really trying to pay attention with on Hood here. So I need it to hold 16. This 17 mark is not only the technical high from yesterday, but it's also these long calls here. And then we have a lot of slow calls at 119. 119. All right. I want to know for the break. Well, Robinhood, it's about to break the high from yesterday. It's about whatever, 40 cents away, 30 cents away. Netflix had a good push this morning, giving a little bit back right now. From a daily perspective, Tesla's looking really strong. It's trying to hold this breakout. Obviously, in the past 2 days, we're not we're still an inside bar. We're in that wick, but this was a nice fake out breakdown that led to potentially a real breakout. So waiting to see how that can go. I currently have no position on Tesla. Palantir chilling at its all-time high. Nvidia chilling at its all-time high. Apple nowhere close to its all-time high, but obviously was consolidating from April up until recently and finally broke out. That is a convincing breakout for sure. Microsoft just kind of chilled after its earnings, just kind of going sideways. Meta, I already kind of just did that breakdown. Is that an all-time high on Meta? Yeah, all-time high on Meta. So if you're playing it, I wish you the best of luck. Coin still under its EMAs. MicroStrategy at its EMAs. Bitcoin itself at 119, trying to hold this trend line. Back to the 0DT stuff. The Mag 7 just made a fresh delta high. The S&P 500, we might be double topping here. We are at a key level, or we just broke out of yesterday's high, key technical level, coming up to a big open interest level at 6420. And then I want to remind you that 6427 is the all-time high. This isn't just like a whatever level. This is a very, 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 very important level. This is the S&P 500, the overall U.S. stock market's all-time high is this dashed line right here. So the only thing really between us and that is all this open interest at 6420. So let's see how that one plays out. Let's see. Submitted. Oh, we're trading again. We are trading again. For some reason, it bought the high of the day, which I personally don't like to do. Back to whoever was asking me about like manual trading. You guys know me. When I am manual trading, I am not the biggest fan of buying the new high of the day, just because that is technically putting you in risk of top ticking, which actually it looks like that's what this trade is doing right now. So I'm hoping that we bounce back relatively quickly and I don't lose my shirt on this particular trade. This system that fired, this particular one, it's a momentum reading system. So it just had enough momentum to try to ride that. Unfortunately, the momentum reading it required, which I did data mine as being a good signal, was apparently associated with the literal top. So that's a bummer. All right, come on. Good people make money. Good people make money. Good people make money.
Order filled.
Bada bing, bada boom. Bada bing, bada boom. Worked for me anyway. And that's why we folks, this is why we let data lead the way. Because, like I said, that particular momentum signal, based on historic data, all the data I could collect, that one's technically based on the 3-minute chart, if I'm remembering properly. Yeah, TL 3-minute. So this one, based on the 3-minute chart, all those 3-minute bar setups between 9:30 and 10:30. I like to look at that first hour because I want to do all the trading with you. Historically, the momentum reading on a 3-minute chart between 9:30 and 10:30 is statistically advantageous to make money, and that's exactly what happened. Is it going to work all the time? No, but I really think if you want to make your life easier, you're just going to start trading with stats. I really do. I think your life becomes way, 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 way easier when you actually know if you have a quantifiable edge or not. Palantir's looking good. Whoa, holy guacamole, Batman. What are you up to, dude? You having a good day? You having a good day? Did you eat corn on the cob in the airport yesterday? Because apparently humans do that now. Why do you keep falling? I swear, Piper might be the most unathletic cat that I've ever met. But it makes sense because I, her owner, and I would like to think of us as life partners, am also very unathletic. So I think she got my genes when it came to athleticism. Because both of us are not athletic, but at least she's skinny and I'm just fat. That's why you guys keep calling me Fat Barney. All right, the Qs just took out the high from yesterday, which means we are at a... Wait, is that technically a new all-time high? Yes, new all-time high. So whatever the intraday high on the NASDAQ is today, that is in fact also the new record high. As you might suspect, the options flow is looking pretty good. All right, what else do we have? The big guys aren't doing anything yet today. We also have Bookmap. Remember, if you want a fat discount on Bookmap or Spot Gamma, check the description of the video. There's a lot of sell-side liquidity right there at 23807, 806, something like that. And it was just all bought up. And then there's even more at 815. Once again, Bookmap, fat discount in the description of the video. Same thing with Spot Gamma. I think both tools are pretty invaluable. Invaluable. 943. You're not fat. You looked pretty buff in the studio yesterday. Oh, that's all CGI. Yeah, no. The people at Rumble were nice enough to see me CGI like me to look better. What's weird is that was actually me with a skinny filter. So imagine how fat I must be, where that's the best they could do, even with high end just that skinny filter on. Like that's why I had to get there, and we were all working so hard. Remember, like, oh, we're putting in all this effort. You might recall from my conversation with Chris yesterday, he's like, yeah, the entire Rumble team, we've been working tirelessly all summer. What they've been working on is an entirely new AI-based system that they can apply to whenever I'm on the screen to shed a couple pounds, and that's the best that they could do. It's sad, right? Like, that's sad. My cat is insane. I wish she slept more. I went out yesterday, and when I came back, she was on the roof of my car, meowing at me aggressively. Dude, cats are funny little creatures. Like, it's much more of like a roommate type relationship, but sometimes you just like to gaslight each other. Hey, quick question. What the fuck just happened? Hey guys, if you don't mind, I have a quick question for everyone. What the fuck just happened? Hey, if you guys have an answer to that, do you know what just happened? Did you cause that? Piper, who did that? Who sold right there? Who did that? Give us your whiskers, you little gypsy. Seriously though, quick question. Oh, well, surprise, surprise. We sold right off to the gamma support level and key psychological level and key open interest level of 6,400, pretty much right where we opened. So in 1 minute, this 1 minute bar at 944, it undid all that work that we've done. Undid it all. All right. Someone said that Trump's on True Social. Jerome Tule Powell must now lower the rate. Well, he's going to in September. Steve Manuchin, I don't know why we're quoting that one, really gave me a beauty when he pushed this loser. The damage he has done by always being too late is incalculable. Fortunately, the economy is so good that we've blown through Powell and the complacent board. I am, though, considering allowing a major lawsuit against Powell to proceed because of the horrible and grossly incompetent job he has done in managing the construction of the Fed buildings. $3 billion for a job that should have been $50 million fix-up. Not good. Yeah, that dip's going to be bought. Of course it's going to be bought. This is stupid. The bot's clearly overreacted. Clearly overreacted. This is our like normal daily scheduled Trump pop-off. We're bouncing right back. That's bullshit. The bots don't realize that it doesn't fucking matter. The real question is, what are the quotation marks for it? Well, from a grammar standpoint, those are technically incorrect quotations, but whatever. So basically, does that really matter? No. Hey, stop it. Come, Piper. Some of us are trying to work. Do you want me to not be able to afford your meow mix anymore? Stop it. It's just tape, dude. You've been around tape. Act cool. Act cool. You've seen tape before. You know how this works. I don't even think she wants me to make money today. Honestly, you guys can't see her, but she has this look in your eyes of like, you're going to fucking lose it all today, buddy. Powell set to cut, supposedly. So what's this post about now? That's a good question. That is a very, very good question, which is just leads me to believe that the only thing that this is really doing at 944 is just causing zero DTE traders and SIM-to-funded traders basically to blow out because they were probably riding the trend. They probably saw this like higher low. I think all this effectively is done is just blow out some short-term traders who unfortunately got in right before 944. They're probably saying, okay, cool. We're like, I mean, without this drop right here, they're probably thinking, okay, we popped, we pulled back, we popped, we consolidated, let's watch 420, 427. And then they just got steamrolled by the president for seemingly no real reason. Right now, the Mag 7 Delta flow, it was going up, then kind of sideways. Starting at 948, we're starting to see a bit of a sell-off. And then right here with the SPY, pretty similar thing. We popped, we went sideways, and ever since, well, really right there, you could see the flow alert. This is when bots started to trade off of this particular news, which I see the questions like, no, this shouldn't impact the market because we all know that it's literally just Trump being Trump. This was probably a pre-written, pre-scheduled, like there's no way a building was charged $3 billion when it should have been a $50 million fix up. That's insane. A $50 million fix up, $3 billion. And also, why write 50 million this way and then spell out 3 billion? I don't know. I think we're just right now being left with more questions than anything else, but I would assume that has like this little, it all happened at 9:44. The exact moment that the market sold is perfectly aligned with the True Social update. You might be thinking, how did people react to it so quickly? Well, it's because it was actually not people. It is just bots that monitor True Social, and then they have sentiment gauges to try to figure out, is the sentiment good or not? And then they just feverishly trade on it. So it's just, it is what it is, I guess. It sucks. It really sucks. Why are we dropping? I literally just covered that. And also, I should clarify that we're still technically green on the day. So you'd only say we're dropping if you've been looking. Uh-oh. Oh, it worked. Nice. Locked it in. That was a quick one. That was a quickie. They don't call me microsecond Matt for no reason. Like to get in and get out before anyone can even start a stopwatch, you know? Have you seen my stapler? I have. We threw it out when you weren't looking. All right, so technically that one's done. So one trade was skipped today just because the conditions were not there for it. And right now, guaranteed that one more strategy does run, but technically two could still run. So the other one, similar to the first one that was skipped, depends on a certain set of information. So if it does exist, it'll take a trade. If it doesn't exist, it won't trade. So potentially two more trades today, but for sure we're getting at least one more trade today. So we'll wait to see how that plays out. Right now, I've traded. The only difference between these accounts from my lowest gain to my highest gain is literally slippage. I've traded the exact same strategies at the exact same time with the exact same contract amount, and yet the realized P&L is 560 on the best, all the way down to basically 300 before fees on the worst. So what's that? A classic $260 differential, which is a large percentage. A large percentage, but hey, it is what it is. Here's a look. We haven't been trending too much. Piper's losing her mind. You guys can't see her, but she's like right here in front of the monitor, and she's seeing all these things go up and down and all the flashing lights, and either she likes it or she's seizing. I don't know. I don't know. That's seemingly above my pay grade. Bitcoin, I liked it way better at 122 over the weekend. What are you doing? Did Timmy fall in the well? Why are you looking at me like that? All right, is this where buyers are finally stepping in? I want to see some flow alerts. Hopefully we're stepping in. Hopefully we're stepping in right here. Okay, we're seeing a little bit of a pop in the delta. Potential turnaround. That's my keyboard. She has no respect for me. No respect. Like, did she go over there now? She doesn't, like, I don't know. She just absolutely no respect. I mean, I could easily bench her entire body weight, and she still treats me like this. Can you believe that? Okay, maybe not easily bench her entire body weight, but I bet I could. Like, if you guys gave me enough, like, steroids and prep work, I could do it. Maybe. I'd have a good shot. I could at least bring the bar down, and she acts like I can't. I mean, you could practically hear her murmurs of calling me a pussy. You could practically hear her murmurs of like, I don't like this guy. I don't like this guy. All right. Just executed one trade. Got a bit of a fill. All right. If you're in the Discord, I am updating one of my swing positions very, very quickly. Downloads. Where are you guys? Swingers, swingers, swingers. I want it known on the record that if my stream just gets like cut off for whatever reason, it's because Piper's now playing with the wires behind my computers and monitors, and that's where the internet is and the power cords. And I don't know if the person who invented those power strips ever had a cat, because the one interesting thing about power strips is the red light. And it just so happens that cats really like to see, hey, come on, come here, come here. Do you want the pen? Do you want the pen? She's like, no. Pen? I'll trade you. I'll trade you. I'll trade you. That was looking good till about 9:47. It did hit 790. All right, we should probably set out a breakout alert on this bad mamma jamma on Meta. Is Robinhood going to do the exact same thing to me it does every single day, pump in the morning and then just sell off all day? Because that would be, I'd really appreciate just like a new story. All right, we are getting a little bit of a bounce right here, right back up to 400. Classic overshoot. You could buy that. Yeah, like minimal risk. You're trying to ride this all the way back up. I really think we're already talking about new all-time highs today. I'm excited to see how much farther past it we can push. Obviously, that's a big if. Who knows even if we're going to make... What are you doing, Piper? I think she's having a midlife crisis, dude. This cat, she's just fucking Robinhood. Chill out. It just too much profit taking at that 117 is like quite a bit of open interest, and it just like, it's just not vibing with it. It's just not vibing with it at all. I'd appreciate it. Why can't we just hit 119? We didn't even really hit 118. We hit 117.70. Oh, what's trending nicely today? Anything? Even Palantir's given up. Netflix has given up. Tesla's given up. Nvidia's kind of given up. Apple bounced a little. Microsoft, Coin. Dude, most of these things are not trending that well. How's CRCL? It had earnings still up 6.8% though. Folks, Delta got smashed at 947 and it really did not recover well. The SPY tried to recover up until about 955, getting hit. Well, maybe 10 a.m. will be bringing around the 10 a.m. reversals that we've been seeing for the past couple weeks, where it seems like whatever, a couple minutes past the new hour, whichever way we've been going, we've then just reversed it. So the fact that we've been kind of trending down from roughly 944 when Trump had to say what Trump had to say till now. Come on, Piper. Dude, we're trying to watch this. We're trying to watch it. Meta is up a decent percent. The trend is not the nicest, though. The trend is not the nicest. Bitcoin is down to 118.8. Hey, are you using Replicanto or do you switch back to your last copier? If so, what's your take? Yesterday I had a different computer when I was traveling, so that one I used Apex copier. Today I'm using Replicanto. I don't know if from a like slippage standpoint if one is better or worse, but what I can tell you is I like don't eat that, that's tape. What I can tell you is I would say the interface and like just the usability of Replicanto is seemingly better. Got a fresh low alert on Hood. That's not what I want to see, being I still have Hood calls. That is definitely not what I want to see. Come on. Come, just take a nap, dude. I'll play with you when the show is over. We'll play your favorite mouse game. I promise. She's getting feisty. Jaws music intensifies. That's how it feels. Folks, things are not looking so hot at the moment. 5 minute is testing. 10 minute is bullish. 30 minute is bullish. 4 hours bullish. 5 minute is breaking down. 10 minute is breaking down. 30 minute is testing. 4 hours still bullish. So on a relative basis, on a momentum basis, the tech sector actually has more bearish momentum right now than the S&P 500. You gotta chill, dude. Just take a nap. Just take a nap. The world's falling apart right now, and all you can care about is playing with tape. Kind of selfish, if you ask me. Looks like the Qs are making a beeline to that closing value from yesterday, even though it had just clearly rejected at 943 at yesterday's high. So we hit the technical level, and then a minute later, Trump started popping off on Truth Social, and ever since then, the market has not been able to find its footing. If you watch Matt 10 minutes behind, then you laugh at his predictive skills. I'm so glad he uses technicals and not his premonition.
Order filled.
What? Fuck. Did that trade right on the turn of the hour? Ooh, that is not how I want my code to function. Yeah, the slippage just got large there. That's playing with fire there, because hey, stop it. It worked, but you can see right at the turn of the hour, a lot of trades start to get executed and the vol starts to pick up. So I was able to make good money, but technically with slippage, it actually kind of got large. Once again, same strategies, different accounts, but same contract size and everything. We are anywhere from take profit 375 all the way up to 905. 905. That is crazy. That's quite a bit of slippage, team. Quite a bit of slippage. Can't complain much because this current form of slippage is actually helping me. But vol's picking up. And I'm trying to think. Which one was that? IBXS. Okay. So that was the one that was guaranteed to run. I'm not the biggest fan of when it ran. So I need to see if I could come up with almost like a delay tactic. But regardless, I have one more strategy that could theoretically run today. It's not guaranteed, so we're going to have to wait and see. If it does trade, let me check out the readings. Yeah, not the most. If it does run, it's not going to run anytime soon. So it still theoretically could run. So pretty much setting up for a very nice day. Maybe one more trade. Maybe Skynet's done for the day. I'll tell you better a little bit later. Oh, I would really love for the Qs to find support here. I'd really love for the Qs. Dude, the Mag 7's just getting smacked. So is the SPY. The big guys are actually small net buyers. So at least they're not puking. I don't know. This thing might just be some weird giant fake out, all still prompted from this 944 sell-off. Maybe I'm being a little bit biased because I do have a lot of bullish positions. Obviously, that is totally possible. But yeah, the options aren't looking so good. Let's zoom in and see our gamma. We do have gamma support at somewhere between 6,370 and 6,380. So that's pretty much where we were at right before the announcement this morning. So there is some positive gamma support there, which also happens to align with the Qs being at their low from yesterday, which is another just technical, psychological level. So I don't think it's the craziest thing to bounce out of here. I want it to. If I had a magic wand to make something happen, I would make this rip all the way back up to a fresh high on the Qs, which did make a new all-time high today. And then the SPY, we could push the intraday high, which would then put us right below the all-time high. So I don't think it's a lost cause yet. I really, really don't. I think we got some funkiness at 9:44 with the Trump True Social message. Once again, we got funkiness right at the turn of the hour at 10 a.m. And now that those two things are kind of donezo, I'm hoping we can finally catch our footing. Hopefully this is just the low of the day at the 10, and the way we've been seeing it for weeks now with reversals somewhere between like 10 and 10:15. Hopefully that's what we're seeing, is like a little bit of a bearish trend on the 1 minute. Hopefully we're seeing that 10 a.m. reversal that sends us up. For that to happen, you're going to need to see this base, but you're going to need to see the Mag 7 Delta pop. Same thing with the SPY. The SPY is currently heading the wrong way. You want both the green, which is the 0 DTE, and the purple, which is the all expiration. You want both of those deltas really popping on the S&P 500, on the NASDAQ, on the Mag 7. And as of right now, we're not really seeing it. Here's a look at Bookmap. Let me move myself over. Oh, literally as I switch to Bookmap, buyers coming in. Remember, the circles are either aggressive buying or aggressive selling. It's green if it's aggressive buying, as in the buyers traversing the spread and hitting the ask. And then the red is aggressive selling. It's when the seller's traversing the spread and getting a fill on the bid. So these are trades actually executed. And then the other thing is going to be this heat map. And those are sitting passive orders, sitting passive buy orders below, sitting passive sell orders above. So these are orders not yet filled, right? For example, someone is trying to sell 402 NQ contracts at 678, 79. It's somewhere right in here. That's a lot of contracts that they're trying to sell. So just because they're trying to sell it doesn't mean that they are like forced to keep it there. They can pull the offer if they want, like the way we've all done it before, where you have a pending offer and you're like, you know what, whatever, I think I could get it better. So you pull it. We'll know if it gets filled if we run up there and then there's a giant green circle. That means at least a good chunk of it was legitimately filled there. And the person who put up the sitting order did not pull it. So obviously I'm hoping for this test soon, and we're going to find out quite a bit. Can you look up Tilray so we'll stop spazzing it? Thanks. Someone's spazzing over Tilray? Oh, right there. Literally, as I was just talking about, see, I was like, giant green circle. Yeah, that order was legitimately filled. Those sitting sell orders, it could be someone making a short position. Most likely it's a short-term buyer taking their profits. I can't say that with 100% accuracy, but statistically that would be more likely than not. So some buyer probably dip buying around here, just selling there. Not a bad trade, riding it up about 50 points on a good chunk. That's like a lot of money that someone just made off that. So someone's asking about Tilray. Well, I mean, what's the question? It's only going up because of the news being reported yesterday that Trump is considering lowering the criminal offense of jazz cabbage, of like the severity of it. That's it. I mean, Tilray itself is obviously reacting positively, but this is a company that, as of right now, until there's a lot of political and regulatory clarity, this company is unfortunately just burning money like no other. It doesn't have much money left, and it's just throwing good money after bad money. So that's why it's up in the short term. So if you're a short-term trader, I mean, I guess have at it. But it's also a shitty penny stock. I'm not rooting against it, and I think that it's silly of how we treat jazz cabbage here in our country anyway. So like, I think it should be fixed, but just from a pure business standpoint, could it be successful? Yeah, but it is very much fighting an uphill battle because it's waiting on political updates, but while it's waiting, it's just burning money. So like, it makes it very, very difficult. Okay. Technical switch right here, potential double bottom, potential fake out lower. The Q's bouncing off that closing value. All right, we're gonna figure it out now. Mag 7 starting to show some life. NASDAQ starting to show some life. The S&P 500 starting to show some life. We did recapture 6,400. Watch for a potential. Well, really, this is range bound. But what I want to see is this bar right here. This is the Trump reaction bar. This is the Trump reaction. So kind of a fake out breakdown right at the turn of the hour. So hang on, I want to draw this a little bit better. So the secondary block, maybe I should change the color. No, you guys will figure it out. From 9:44 to 950. That was the clear negative reaction from the Trump True Social update, talking shit on Jerome Powell. Then we bounced up a little bit. The market actually had some negative sentiment and we made a fresh low, but a minute later, it actually ended up popping. In my book, when you have negative news and it prompts like this sell-off, and obviously the opposite is also true, when the market completely reverts that, that tells me that the market equilibrium is basically saying that this whole trade was wrong. So if we can get back above and push above 6413, 6414, basically the high here when we got that news, if we can push back above and hold that's actually, to me, quite a bit of bullish sentiment, because it's literally just saying, hey, when the markets hold off because of that news, we think you guys got it wrong, basically. So we got a decent pop. We recaptured 6400. We ran into 6407, the high from yesterday. And now I want to see a higher low, a bounce up to 20, a new intraday high. And then I want to, dude, those were claws, man. Why would you do that, Piper? You really don't have to. You're not going to fall, dude. It's just carpet. We have blankets. You don't need to get your claws out on everything. Ow, dude. She really just dug in there, man. That cat. I think she's trying. That's assault. In many different states, in many different countries, I could have you arrested for species on species crime. Species on species crime right now. I've been assaulted. I am a victim, and you guys saw it. I have video evidence of the assault. Just another claim for workman's comp. I was assaulted on the job. Can you believe that, Piper? From my own family. Dude, I'm autistic. You could sound any way you like, and it's impossible to cause offense. Only stupid and lazy people can do that. Oh, and liars. Are you... I don't think that relates to me. I feel like you're fighting with someone in chat. Cat assault, first degree. You guys saw it. I'm going to be calling you all as my witnesses when I finally get my day in court. You will have to answer to justice, Piper. Dude, can we just chill? Maybe this is a good time to take a nap. Maybe this is a good nap time. All right, so we are hoping that this breakout at 10:06 is going to hold. We had these lower highs, lower lows on the 1 minute on the SPY and the Qs. Tesla going the wrong way. Just got a breakdown alert on Tesla. Hopefully we still can make a higher low. We're seeing if we can get this trend switch. The trend was bearish. Lower highs, lower lows on the 1 minute. We took out the recent high, which creates the potential for a trend switch. But what you need to do is wait for the next low. We got a fresh high. The question is the next low going to be higher? Because if so, obviously, then we're talking about a new trend, really. SPY, or at least the ES contract on the 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour, all bullish. The NASDAQ is testing. It was bullish, got knocked bearish. It is currently testing on the 5 minute, 10 minute, and on the 30 minute. The 5 minute is the one that is most evidently testing here, just below 23,700, while SPX happens to be testing at the massively important psychological open interest gamma delta level of 6,400. So SPX is at a very important level, and Q is at a very important level. Basically, both major indices are trying to decide like what they're doing today. Do they want to be bullish? Do they want to be bearish? They are in that awkward in between at the moment. The awkward in between, and we just have to wait. The Mag 7 flow is flat. The S&P 500 flow was down, pop. Now we're just kind of waiting to see if there's going to be follow through or not. So as much as I wish I had a crystal ball to tell you what's about to happen, I don't. All I can tell you is that the market, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, arguably even Bitcoin that's at 119, we're all at key levels. Everything's just at a very important key level, and we are just waiting. We are just waiting to see what in the world happens. All right, we'll just wait either for this to be the higher low and we bounce and we follow through, or this was the fake out and we puke back down to the intraday low. All I could tell you is we just got to wait. You just got to wait. Yeah, of course, we could watch a little bit for flow. Maybe it's going to be a bit of a leading indicator. The big guys haven't been really doing much, so that's not much help. I could show you this, that right where we got rejected on NQ a couple minutes ago, there's someone trying to sell a fuckload of size. Someone actually called it a metric fuckload. but they're trying to sell 400 contracts at 23,718. So they're literally just targeting this recent high. So that's another thing to pay attention to. Maybe they could take this out. I'm actually surprised that there's more sell orders, pending sell orders at 18 rather than 700 flat. They're trying to sell all the way up here. Oh, all right. We're taking out this level. On the screen right now is Bookmap. Like I said, there's a discount in the description, and then this one's called Spot Gamma. The only reason I'm bringing that up is because recently I've been getting questions about what's what, and just so you know, they're completely different tools. This one is for options analysis, Spot Gamma. This is just for basically a super advanced DOM, a depth of market, and where have the trades been, and where are the pending orders sitting. So they show you two completely distinct, unrelated aspects of the market. I use it on NQ. You could use it on ES. You could use it on individual equities. You could use it on crypto. So I am biased to NQ because obviously right here I am trading NQ. But I just want to let you know there is other stuff. I only base my trading off the McRib chart. Dude, I wouldn't blame you. There's been some compelling evidence of the McRib being reintroduced to society and the market going like haywire. So I don't think that's necessarily a bad trade. What happened to sticking to shares, Pickle? Are you calling me a pickle? That's offensive. Workers' comp, not workmen's comp. My HR officer has repeatedly retrained me. Workers' comp, not workmen's comp? Is that because it's 2025 and women can work now? Does anyone know if they followed through with the whole PDT modification adjustment? I mean, if they do, it's not going to be for a while. It's open for comment. That stuff does not move quickly, like at all. You would definitely hear about it. It would not be like, I mean, that particular news would like definitely get a lot of heads to turn and people would be talking about it. It wouldn't be like, oh, and by the way, you forgot that happened a while ago. The Russell is clearly winning from this, the low inflation report today. The Russell is just crushing. IWM, look at that butte. Look at that butte, Clark. Mag 7 picking up, S&P 500, flow alert right there. Probably people locking in some profit as we got to, yes, higher highs, higher lows. Oh, should I sign into my Vanquish account? Vanquish. Do I want to trade this? Do I want to? Well, of course I want to, but should I is a different problem. Should I is a different problem. All right, SPX. Confirm and send. All right, I have 5. I'm in at 11:10. All right, close with a single order, all 5. When I'm in at 11:10. I want to get out at 12:10. That's for all 5. Confirm and send. Create order. All right, my order's in there. We're just throwing up a little options trade. I have 5 SPX calls, 0 DTEs at the money. My fill was $11.10. I have a pending order to get out at $12.10 on 5. So hopefully it's a gain of 500 buckaroos. Basically, I'm just playing this new structure. So right here between 10:07 and 10:08, that's where we had this idea that it might be potentially changing because we took out this recent high. And then we had the confirmation at 10:13 when we clearly put in a higher low. So we went from lower highs and lower lows to higher highs and higher lows. I kind of wish I executed this trade at 10:14. I was a little bit late to it, but the fact that we are holding above 6407, I'm a big fan. And really, I'm looking for a return in the short term up to 6415, which should be good enough for me to get my profit. From a technical perspective, I would be watching 6420 because that's where there's a lot of open interest. And then past that, we have 6427, which is the all-time high of the S&P 500. Like I said, small cap sector is dominating today. I wish Bitcoin were at 121, 122,000. Meta potentially turning around a little bit. What the fuck is Hood doing? Jesus. Every single morning, this thing seemingly does great in the mornings and then just gets faded all day. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. IWM new high of day, gold new low of day. Bitcoin's at 119. The SPY's chilling at its high of day from yesterday, while the Qs are at the high of the day from Friday and halfway between yesterday's high and low. Here's the Mag 7 flow. We are generically trending up now ever since 10:04. And the SPY, yeah, a lot of profit taking right there. Look at all these. I assume profit taking, especially because flow. Then we actually went down. So I had to guess, yeah. We had some, seemingly, it looks like some 0 DTE call profit taking right there. The spot gamma map blown up like no other. Flow, dump. Flow, dump. All right, if you haven't already, sign up for Public. They are the partner of today's show. You guys know that I've been trading on them for, 2 or 3 years. It's the main place I trade options, and in my humble opinion, it's the best place to trade options. If you're watching this right now and you do not have an account on Public, you might as well sign up and see what it's all about. It is free to download. It is free to sign up. You're going to mess around with it. I think you're going to really like it because you're going to realize that, hey, the no commission fees and the no per contract fees on all stocks and ETFs is pretty awesome. And on top of that, you earn a rebate for every single time you trade a contract. Doesn't matter if it's a call or put, doesn't matter if you're buying it or selling it, you're going to be earning a rebate every single time you trade an option. So even if you get in and out at the exact same value on something such as, like, let's just use SPY as an example, you would actually be up money because of the rebate, even though you bought and sold at the same price. So just an example of what's going on. Yes, they have stock trading. Yes, they have crypto trading. Yes, they have bond trading. Yes, they have high yield accounts. Yes, they have retirement accounts. This really is a one-stop shop. I think you guys are going to love it. It is pinned to the top of chat. Use that link because then you're going to start off at a higher rebate tier. If you were just to go to the website or just download it, unfortunately, you'll have to start at the lowest tier. So if you want to skip a couple steps there, use that link pinned to the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. Like I said, it is no harm, no foul for you to check this out. But you're going to realize as you start to see the rebates stack and stack and stack, that's exactly why I think you're going to like it as much as I do. Once again, pinned to the top of chat. Use that link because you'll start out at a higher rebate tier. And on that note, we are moving. I didn't lock it in yet, but we're close. 450 unrealized, 425 unrealized. Right there. Bada bing, bada boom. The top right just locked it in. You know what? I'm going to be disciplined, and we're going to call that my one trade of the day over here. My 10 DTE degenerate long 500 buckaroos locked in. So we're shutting that down. I'm going to keep myself for myself. I know every single time I look in the mirror, I'm my own greatest enemy. So easy 500 bucks. Easy 500 bucks. And really, I explained the entire trade to you guys. Overall, my larger bias was bullish because of the daily setup, because of the option structure. And then intraday, I waited for a little bit of bearishness. The bearishness appeared to be going bullish. Then we had confirmation of it. That's when I executed my trade. When the short term reverted the overall trend, then went back in phase with the larger trend. I was waiting for that. Granted, I could have traded maybe a minute or two earlier, and that would have been better. But overall, those are my bread and butter setups. Identify the larger trend, wait for the shorter time frame to reverse that, and then as it goes back in phase with the larger trend, that's where I'm looking to execute mine. So is that the only way to engage in the stock market? No. You could do whatever you want. I guess I'm just clarifying what I saw in the market. I saw that the Mag 7 started to show a little bit of relief. Even the SPY was showing a little bit of relief. Unfortunately, that relief quickly ran into this wall, and I got lucky with that follow-through pop. But regardless, that's what I saw. Now, maybe you like trading that way. Maybe you don't. Maybe you think it's smart. Maybe you think it's stupid. Maybe you have no thoughts on it at all. All I'm letting you know is what I'm doing. I'm not telling you that it's the end-all, be-all. I'm not telling you it's gospel. I'm not telling you anything like that. I'm literally just letting you know what old fat Barney is doing. Well, I'm letting you know what old fat freaking Barney is doing. I'm kind of surprised that my other one hasn't traded yet, because technically it could still trade one more time. I'm surprised it did not take this breakout at 1016 or 1021. I'm gonna let me write that down because I really thought it should. Maybe there wasn't enough momentum. I'm really surprised it didn't take this breakout on the new high or wait for a little bit of a pullback and then take this breakout. So between 1016 and 1021, I thought that should have been enough to hit the criteria for my final trade of the day. I really did. I did. So I'm going to have to look into that. Maybe the momentum reading was just barely not high enough. And now it's going to have to wait for some additional pullback or for the momentum to get really high. And then it'll trade. But anyway, there is potential for one more trade. And I must admit, it looks like it's getting pretty close. So I think the final trade will actually trade. But as of right now, it's traded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's traded 5 today. Theoretically, I could trade up to 7 times today. 1 this morning was skipped because it was not in the right environment to do it. So for today specifically, there's only a max of 6. And right now it's traded 5 times. So we're either doing 5 or 6 today, just waiting to see if this final one does happen. So waiting on this, obviously nicely green. You guys just saw the Vanquish trade, locking in an easy 500. And basically the name of the game is, are we going to get the initial balance, which remember is the first hour of the day? Are we getting a breakout or a breakdown on the initial balance? Initial balance is the same thing as like an opening range breakout or breakdown. It's just, is the name reserved for the first hour? For whatever reason, they want to call that something differently. So the world does. The world does. Oh, Microsoft getting a nice bounce there. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour, all bullish. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour, all bullish. We are above this key level, yesterday's high. Obviously, you have the intraday high at 16, and then you have this open interest level at 20. Don't be surprised if these 0 DTE call buyers decide to take some of the profits there and then take more of their profits at 2.7, which is the all-time high. So right now, I'm going to argue that the bulls are still in control. I know we had a bit of a sell-off. People seemingly had an overreaction to the Trump True Social update at 9:44, which, if you ask me, is nothing but a nothing burger. But hey, those are my own thoughts and opinions. So while we are waiting to see if we can get the initial balance breakout, while we are waiting to see if my system is going to fire one more time, what questions, comments, concerns do you have? Do you have questions about Public? Do you have questions about Bookmap? Do you have questions about Spot Gamma? Do you have questions about the trade I took today? Do you have questions about any of the trades I took today? Do you have questions about the Discord? Do you have questions about an individual stock? Do you have questions about Greeks? Do you have questions about life? Maybe you're curious how I got so fat. Do you have questions about Megan, who's a person I never think about? Hood call question. Fire away, brother. And also, you don't have to say you have a question. You could just ask the question, by the way. How is rum looking? Now, remember, I don't actively trade rum. I have thousands of shares as an investment, but it's exactly that. It's an investment. I plan on being this for the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. I honestly don't care about the day-to-day movement. I don't care about the week-to-week movement. A lot of the times, I don't even care about the monthly movement because I'm going to be in this thing for years because it's an investment. It is not a trade for me. I do a lot of active trading, of course, but I just want to let you know my mindset. Of course, with that being said, I'm still a human. Like, I want it to go up every single day. That would be phenomenal. And I would argue that the news announced yesterday of the potential acquisition of Northern Data is actually one of the most exciting fundamental developments that they've had literally as an entire company, like their whole history. So fingers crossed that that deal goes through. It sounds like there's a lot of whatever, not really red tape, but other forms of approval that have to happen before it is a done deal. It is not a done deal, but I'm hoping that it does because I think it won't just be a slight positive fundamental improvement. I think it'll be a massive fundamental improvement. Are you going to get a second cat? Not while I live where I do, but I would love another cat if the cat distribution system gives me one, but I'd also love a dog. Hood call 115. When are you exiting? When my system tells me to exit. It's not like I just have an arbitrary profit target or anything like that. Like, I have a system for a reason. It's because it's proven to make me more money than when I lose the money myself. Thoughts on MU long term? I think there's better players in the semiconductor industry, specifically NVIDIA, Broadcom, and AMD in that order. Your hood call is until August 22nd. When do you plan to exit? When my system tells me to get out. Why are you not setting a stop loss on your first trade of the day, market open? There is one. It's just not shown on the chart because of how it's coded up, but there's a stop loss on all of my trades. What kind of dog would you get? Oh, dude, that's a great question. I don't know. I think border collies are cool. I think German shepherds are cool. I think labs are cool. I think great pit bulls are cool. I think golden retrievers are cool. Probably like some medium-sized dog. It feels like you could do a lot of like training and hiking and stuff with shepherds, so probably leading that way. Analysis on Netflix. I mean, a Netflix, I'm hoping it can hold this breakout. So bullish trend, short-term pullback appears to be trying to break back bullish. It is above the EMA, so I'm just hoping that this is a local low made on August the 5th, and we bounce, and I want to see it take out 80 and then ideally trend back up to a new all-time high. When are you getting married? I'm already married. I got married in October of last year. RDDT. Reddit. How's Reddit looking? Yeah, this is looking good. It's coming up to technical resistance, and it's already ripped quite a bit from 150 to 226. I wish I got into it, but there's by no chance would I be chasing this right now. That's silly. You have like your potential reward is up here and your potential risks all the way here. So it's very asymmetric against you, not in your favor. So because of that, I would not be messing with this one. But if I were already in it, if I felt good about earnings or something like that and played this follow through, I'd be holding my position, but I would not be creating a new position at this point in time.
Order submitted.
Hang on. We are trading. It did trade. See, okay, yeah, it waited for a little pullback and bought the breakout.
Filled.
Final trade of the day. Bada bing, bada boom. This is my third day in a row. Friday, Monday, Tuesday, we went for a turkey. We got a turkey. The old three-peat. Yeah, line them up, knock them down. But 3 days, Skynet has run perfectly. Friday, Monday, Tuesday. And these are all unfunded accounts. So actually, let me make sure that these are all done. It traded 6 times today because the 7th one, there was just not the environment for it. But anywhere from $995 all the way down to $436. So quite a bit of slippage. This time, slippage did help me, because technically every account right now should be at 450. So some of them more than doubled up because it got me a fill at a better price than the ones, I guess, using Tradivate. So I like to go over this just because it reminds me, as much as I complain about slippage, there are instances in which it like helps me. So like, I think for me, it's healthy instead of always complaining about slippage to just be like honest and realize that no, actually sometimes it does benefit you. So these accounts started on Friday. The best account is already up $2,100. And once again, it's only traded for 3 days. And the quote unquote worst account is up 1.4. So not bad. Not bad. I'll focus on this number just because you're only as strong as your weakest link there. So the worst account in 3 days of trading up 1.4K. So I will take it. I will take it. I will take it. I will take it. I am trading 20 Apex accounts, 2 take profit accounts, and 4 Tradeify accounts. So make sure to check that out. Actually, big news. Tradeify decided to extend, or not Tradeify, Take Profit. The best deal that they've ever run concluded last week. Too many people complained that they didn't get in time, that they decided to extend by another week because apparently they got a lot of emails over the weekend that they weren't getting the previous emails that the deal was ending. So that's at least what they're saying. I don't know. All I can let you know is the best deal for Take Profit is still running. They extended it by another week. 40% off, no activation fees, and on your first withdrawal, you get 100% of your initial test back anyway. So theoretically, you can get all the way to your first payment, and you're going to have to pay nothing if you get to your first payment, because not only are you getting that payout, but they're also refunding your initial test fee, which is already 40% off, and there's no activation fee. So they've extended it for a week. It's in the description of the video. My mod will put it in chat, but if you want to take advantage of this deal, it is code Goonie. And once again, that is on Take Profit Trader, which they do allow you to use Trade-Evade. So if you're like getting freaked out about how like weird Rhythmic's been lately, I just want to let you know that you can actually, I think you can only use Trade-Evade on Take Profit Trader. Feel free to let me know if I'm wrong on that one, but I believe you can only use Trade-Evade. Leaps, did you use your Vanquish account? Oh, that was for someone else. Hell yeah, I just got my accounts. Thanks, Matt. Dude, yep, just want to let you guys know that they did extend it by a week. I'm always going to try to let you guys know who has the best deal at that moment in time, because the industry is becoming very, very competitive, so they're always trying to outdo each other. So depending on the time and the place, you should probably be buying different accounts, because the rules, there are slight nuances when you compare them across the board. So of course you should be using the one that is best for you. But if there's a couple where you have a chance of being successful, well, at that point, it makes the most sense to buy the one that has the best financial deal. It seems to bounce back and forth between Apex, Take Profit Trader, Tradeify. Recently, Funding Ticks is turning heads. Funded Futures is turning heads, and Lucid Trading. Those are all three new guys. Where like I've heard about them and I know a little bit about them, but I just want to be completely honest with you. I'm by no means an expert. I definitely know the most about Apex, Take Profit Trader, and Tradeify. Just because I've been using them the most. But as other firms come out and they try to take market share from the existing ones, I'm more than happy to dive into it and like look at their rules. Did you talk about Rumble stock today? Yes, I can go back and watch. I did. Basically, I just want to remind you guys, I don't actively trade Rumble. I don't want anyone watching right now to think that I am a Rumble stock trader. I own the stock and I'm invested in it. So I really don't care about the day to day, the week to week, the month to month. I like what I see with the company in the long term. If that changes, if my fundamental thesis changes, I will let you know, and I'll be like, hey guys, I plan on getting out. But if anything, from my understanding of the situation, I believe the company's actually in the strongest fundamental position it's ever been in. So because of that, I'm more than happy to hold my shares. And honestly, since it is, in my perception, so strong, I might even add shares. Obviously, if I do that, I'll let you know. I'm not trying to hide anything. I want to be as transparent as I can. But right now, I bought shares back in 2022, and I've been sitting on them ever since. I think if you look at all of my accounts across the board, because I do own Rumble in different accounts, like I think 3 or 4 different accounts, I believe my net cost is in the low 7s. I believe it's in the low 7s. It's either in the low 7s or the high 6s. So we'll just call it $7 for the ease of this conversation. So as long as it's above $7, I'm not sweating at all. I hope you got good credit cards when you earn points for all the accounts you pay each month. Dude, I do. For sure. I swear, if I put it on one of those travel credit cards, I'd be able to fucking circumnavigate the globe for free. How's your Funding Ticks account? Not well. Not going well on Funding Ticks because of the daily loss limit. That's a hard breach. So I'm not really, I need to think about how I can either modify my strategies to be successful on that platform, or just that platform's not for me. And it's not to say anything bad about the platform. It's more of their rule set doesn't do seemingly that well with the way I trade it. So it's more of a personal thing. It's not like I've heard bad news about the company. I just can't seem to really crack the code. I'm still working on it. Obviously, I'll let you guys know what I do or don't figure out. But I just haven't been able to figure it out, unfortunately. Remember, I'm a retard. Is your bot stop loss in the 10 to 15% range? No, it is a hard-coded value. Like just a dollar value based on how much you're allowed to lose from the from the rules of the sim to funded. It's not percentage. I have a bot stop loss for my that's not even true either. That's not a percentage. It's like just key levels. So yeah, actually the answer to that, no matter how I say it at this point, is no. Historically, I've done percentage stuff and I'm not against it. I'm just thinking about all the strategies I run right now, and none of them have percentage based stop losses. Hey, Matt, which indicators is your system based on? Well, I run a lot of systems. So even my day trading systems, I'm currently running 7 right now. So those are all based on different things. Of course, there's some overlap. I would say in its core, the similarities of it is basically trying to read the current trend and trade with trend. If I had to like really just overall like be like, okay, like how are these working? What is the edge? The edge is attempting to identify the current movement and go with the current movement. There's many ways to do that, and there's many indicators that can help you, and there's many, I guess, ways like you don't even have to consider pure price data. You could look at options flow. You could look at astrology. Like there's ways to do it, but the overall like concept is, can we identify the current trend properly? And if we can we trade with that trend? That's how I do most of my day trading. That is what I perceive to be the best for scalp trading, is not mean reverting. If I were to mean revert, I know of one strategy that is net profitable as a mean reverting day trading strategy. And it's when you go out 2.5, or maybe even 3 standard deviations of the quote unquote normal move, the average move, fading that. Because by definition, if you're at a 2 or 3 standard deviation move, you're in a situation that does not happen anywhere from 96 to 97 to 99% of the time. So that's something that could be mean reverted. So I'm not here telling you you cannot make money mean reverting. You can. I would just argue that it's more difficult to find those strategies on a day trading standpoint. Why are you so into seasonality when market is so news driven and situational? I think it's the most pointless gauge. Curious of your perspective to see if you should consider changing my view on it. I would just say it comes back to data. You have to look at how often does seasonality help versus not. That's the beautiful thing about seasonality, is from an empirical standpoint, obviously it's pretty easy to understand, but more than that is it's easy to backtest. So it's just more of, can it tell you an edge in the market? I would agree with you that it's not useful if half the time it's right and half the time it's wrong, but it just turns out that there are periods of the day, the week, the month, the year, and the quarter that actually it does have more than a 50-50 predictive power. So it's just a pure math thing of like, does it help you develop an edge over and above a 50-50 shot? And does it help every day? No. That's why sometimes I put very bullish versus leaning bullish versus neutral. The times that we have like bullish and very bullish, it's because it's statistically significant, like as in like clearly above a 50-50 predictive power. But then there are certain days that I'll be the first to tell you that no, like there's just no seasonality. Do you use a screener for research? No, I'm not against screeners. I know people use them and they make a lot of money, but I approach the market very differently than most of your trading gurus and furus. I am ideally humble enough to recognize that I kind of don't know what the fuck I'm doing. The only thing that I know really in this world that I'm somewhat good at is math and statistics. So I just look at math and statistics. So this idea of like using a screener and then I find this and that, I just don't feel like I have an edge there. And I think people can develop an edge there. I'm just saying I'm not one of those guys. Maybe if I was able to like back test screening data, and every time something pops up with like a filter A, B, C, and D, it has like whatever, an expected return of like whatever, X, Y, Z. Okay, yeah, maybe I could see that. But if I use the screener, I would have to approach it in the exact same way I'm already doing everything, where like I'm looking for historic patterns that have an edge, and then I'm just looking to play that pattern out into the future. It's honestly that simple. Like I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm not even sure if I know how to invent a wheel or really anything. I'm just trying to do it super fucking simple. I want a set of data that I can do an analysis on. In that analysis, whatever, some basically bastardized form of data mining, are there certain setups that have better than a 50-50 outcome? Of like, hey, when we see this exact setup, instead of half the bars going up and half the bars going down, they actually go up 3/4 of the time. That interests me. That very, very much interests me. Like, for example, this is one that I was looking at recently. Okay, if you go to NQ, And if you go to the hour chart, so NQ on the hour chart. Yeah, I'm on the 1 hour. Did you know that if you look at the 6, okay, if you look at the high and the low, I don't know why this exists, but it does exist. Okay, so the 6 a.m. hour, literally from 6 a.m. to 6:59:59. That I'm talking about that 1 hour time frame. Did you know that the 7 a.m. bar takes out the low 77% of the time opposed to the high? I don't know why. I have no fucking clue why. All I can tell you is that the 6 to 7 a.m. bar, that 1 hour bar, we take out that low 77% of the time. I don't know why, and I honestly don't care why. What I care about is, can I use that piece of information to make trades? Can I use that information to put more money in my pocket so I can buy more Hugo Spritzes, so I can buy Piper, whatever, more Meow Mix? So that is like, that's a super simple one, and there would be more development that you have to do on top of that. At least there's more development I would do on top of it before I put money behind that system. But that is a very easy to understand example of the types of things I look for in the market. Is I look for setups, and that's a simplistic one just because you're looking at 1 hour and you're taking out highs and lows. It can become endlessly complicated, but basically it's just Bayesian probabilities, it's Markov chains, and you move on with your life. Like that's how I approach it. I know that there's a lot of people out there who think that there's some sort of secret model that as soon as you understand it, you make a shitload of money, and that's like the algorithms running the market. I'm here to tell you that doesn't exist. This isn't an opinion. This is just a fucking fact. There's no singular, like, holy grail golden strategy that the market runs on. It doesn't work like that. And I see this time and time again, that retail is always kind of caught trying to, like, I guess for a certain sense, like figure that out of like, oh, I need to figure out the system of like how this works at large. No, folks, there's a million different strategies that are net profitable that you can make money off of across all the markets. You just got to find one of them and just stick to it. Like, as if your financial life depends on it. You find a trading system that has net positive expected value, and you follow the exact rules slavishly, and that's it. And you move on with your life. This idea of like trying to trade all the time and catch this move and that move and figure out this model and that model. I've never met a single person who is net profitable doing it. I get it. If you go onto Twitter, on Instagram, on all this shit, you're going to find a bunch of people who are attempting to sell you that. And I mean, this is coming from a person who does have a premium community. I do give away the first month for free, but I'm telling you that doesn't exist. I mean, ask anyone in the Discord. The stuff we talk about, it's basically just odds of like, hey, here, we're in a certain setup. Here's a percentage chance of this happening. Here's the percentage chance of this happening based on all historic data that we have. So I approach it differently. Maybe it works. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know if I wouldn't say it's the best. I mean, there's definitely hedge funds that make way more money than I do. All I can tell you is it's just what works for me. It's honestly that simple. What the fuck is a Hugo Spritz? Hugo Spritz is the drink of the summer. And it's a drink that is far, far better than Aperol Spritz. Unfortunately, Big Aperol has much better marketing, and it has demeaned the name of Hugo Spritz. And it's a long, lengthy, historic story about the great Aperol versus Hugo fight. And unfortunately, Aperol has used some underhanded, deceptive tactics to, like I said, besmirch the name of Hugo. And I, for one, will be fighting back against this travesty. The market is human reaction, and every day is never exactly the same. I agree with the latter part, that every day, like, there's no such thing as a perfect repeat day, but I also don't think it's necessarily a human reaction. Remember, we're in the environment that 70% of all trades, 70% of all volume is actually roughly, it's bot driven, but it's roughly 70%. So more than half of the trades on any given day are executed by bots. Not by a human. So do humans have a big part? Yeah, there's still a lot of human traders, and humans inherently create the systems, and some of them are machine learning and they build on themselves and this, that, and the other thing. But most, like literally a majority of all trade volume on any given day is not executed by a human. SPY's looking good. Keys are looking good. Robinhood is not looking good. Meta's looking flat. What is looking good right now? Bitcoin's back above 119. Meta I have up just because it's up 2.4%. It's the largest gainer on my watch list, so hey, I'll take that. The SPY does look like it's going for that target that I gave you. Why is this not working? Oh, here we go. Here, let's go to the 5-minute. Classic pop, sell off, higher high, higher low, follow through. We're going for the intraday high, followed by the open interest level, followed by the all-time high. Pretty fucking easy setup, team. Pretty easy setup. Mag 7 did just get its clock cleaned at 10:46. The SPY has a new delta high after quite a hustle and bustle of feverish buy orders. Flow alert, flow alert, flow alert, flow alert. Interesting. It was the inverse flow alert right here when we got up there the first time. That was a bunch of people locking in their profits. Second time around, that was actually people representing bullish ideology in the short-term movement because the 0 DTE delta is pippity popping. Pippity popping. Folks, this is on YouTube and on Rumble. I just want you guys to know this is on YouTube and Rumble. As we're sitting here talking about systematic trading, we get into much more depth in those conversations in the Discord. But if you're like, you know what, I just kind of want to know like if this is for me or not before like risking any of your own money, highly recommend you watch these videos because both of them are how you can create your own algorithmic trading systems with no coding background, no coding knowledge, and no coding effort. This is how you can use AI to create your own trading systems, honestly, with relative ease. So it's up there. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. This is not like some sort of like gimmick bullshit. It's literally me sitting there explaining and showing you in real time of how to use ChatGPT to develop your own trading systems, especially for SIMDA funded. But of course, its application is wider, and you're going to see that in these videos. So I have the intro foundational video and just kind of like how to get going. And then the second one is starting to just up the complexity and start to involve a little bit more useful stuff. So those are up there. It's up on Rumble. It's up on YouTube. It is on both wherever you're watching this video right now. Whatever platform on, you can find the access to that video as well. So it's on the same Rumble channel as you guys are watching on Rumble right now. And it's on the secondary YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube right now. But they're both up there. They are both free. It's not like some sign up bullshit. It's like literally just the lecture of how to do it. Just the lecture of how to do it. Now imagine how incredible you could be if you did know how to code. I mean, your time is going to be easier if you already know how to code just because you're going to be able to debug it a little bit faster. But you can still do it without code. And then the requirement for coding of making it quote unquote easier, it's going to diminish as we come out with new models. They just released ChatGPT 5, and as they go to 6 and 7 and 8, it's just going to get better and better and better. Matt, why is Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift your favorite Fast and Furious movie? Don't you say that. That's my least favorite. I'd appreciate if you didn't lie about me when it came to the only thing in this world that I care about, and that is the Fast and Furious franchise. Well, it's one of two things: Fast and Furious franchise and Texas Roadhouse. But I would really, really appreciate it if you didn't spread those lies about it, because that doesn't make me feel so good. How do you know it wasn't a psyop and she wasn't placed there in New York to buy corn futures? It might have been. Honestly, it could have been a CIA sponsored psyop to fuck with me. We just hit a new intraday high and we are not far away from an all-time high. And we're waiting. And remember, whatever the intraday high is on the Qs is also the new all-time high. So NASDAQ is already today in the conversation of a new record, while the SPY is getting real close. We're coming up to a major open interest level here, and then obviously we are watching 27, which is the all-time high. Speaking of public, just because they are today's stream partner, definitely sign up for it. If you're watching this right now, use that link pinned to the top of chat. You guys are going to like it. But just because the recent update series has been me sharing what I'm doing, here's how everything's going. I'm in a leveraged NASDAQ play up about 68%. So that's 14K, 8K on SPY, 7K on BITX, 3.5K on Hood, break even on Meta, and I am down 1,000 on Netflix. So this looked better yesterday. This looked better this morning, but I'm still, I mean, at one point today I was up 22K. And then at one point today, I was down 12K, and now I'm up net 3.9. So it looked way better this morning, but I'm still hopeful. I'm looking for follow through on SPY. I'm looking for follow through on Qs. I'm looking for follow through on Meta. I'm hoping for recovery on Robinhood, and I'm hoping for recovery on Netflix, and I'm looking for follow through on Bitcoin. So like I said, I'm just going to always be putting in my effort to be as transparent as I can. If you want to know exactly when I'm getting in and out and the type of reasoning and that type of stuff, that's definitely much more appropriate for the Discord. But if you don't mind like a 1 day lag of what I'm doing and what I'm not doing, well, I guess you could just watch it for free then. Is Tesla at support? I don't know. Is it? It seems like it's potentially reverting the breakout. It's at the low from yesterday, and some people do react to the low, but it's at this trend line. So it's more like it has to make a decision. Are we going to follow through or are we not? I would just say pay attention to it. Pay attention, pay attention. Come on, Meta. Come on, Meta. What are the big guys doing today? They're starting to buy. They are starting to buy. They are starting to buy. Hopefully we don't get this stupid afternoon sell-off again. What is today? The 12th. All right. Piper just fired on that momentum kick right there at 10:50 or 10:55 or whatever the hell it was. So Piper just fired if you're in the Discord. And then I haven't done my 0DTE trade. Do I want to? Do I want to? Do I want to? Do I want to? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Do I want to fire this trade off? Let me see. How am I feeling today? Oh, the Mag 7, the SPY. Why does it all look so fucking messy? Why is trading hard, you know? I think that's a better question that maybe some of us should be considering is like, why is this shit so hard? Also, bad beat yesterday on the put credit spreads that I sold, unfortunately. Not exactly how I wanted it to turn out, if I'm being completely honest. Not exactly how I wanted it to play out. Oh, my revenge trading. I feel like if you have to ask yourself if you're revenge trading, there's a good answer the answer to the question is yes. Probably good. AMD analysis. Where's Captain Condor? I don't believe Captain Condor is playing today. AMD. Nothing. Big pop going sideways. You kind of just have to wait for the range to either break to the upside or to the downside. But kind of got into a period of consolidation right at the start of August. Rip, rip, rip. Breather, lower highs, lower lows. This is called a bull channel because they commonly do break out to the upside. So I would just be waiting to see if it can get above and hold above 178, 179, 180, and then push a fresh local high, which is not the all-time high, just because AMD has been severely lagging behind. NVIDIA is obviously like the golden child of this particular industry, and then followed by Broadcom, which is the second biggest. which is actually knocking on the door of a follow through, oddly enough. A little consolidation. I like them. I put AMD at third, personally, but maybe you don't. Oklo, what's the deal with Oklo? Breakout, fake out, pulled back into the range, might still have higher highs. I would say overall this is still bull dominated, seemingly holding 68. I like it. Overall, higher highs, higher lows. Uber, nothing special. Technically, it's a higher low, so I don't think it's the craziest play to try to play the follow through, but I just don't see it. Like, this was exciting when it really got going, but it's just not showing those types of moves at the moment. Of course, that could change whenever. I would say it's bullish because we are still getting higher highs and higher lows. Just overall price structure, it recaptured the EMA, so I would say the bulls have the upper hand, but I don't know if I find it convincing enough to be one of my trades. Coin's been oddly weak ever since it hit a new all-time high. So it's still below its EMA. So because of that, I would want to be playing it in the bullish direction because I see Bitcoin's looking good. But for some reason, Coin is just the market doesn't give a shit about it, apparently. Speaking of the market, has anyone noticed before? Okay. Do you guys know before when I was like, hey, there's no algorithm that runs the market? I forgot to tell you that I'm lying because I did notice the algorithm, and it goes to something like this: red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green. So I'm pretty sure the algorithm is just do the opposite of the previous day. That is actually uncanny. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days in a row of perfect flip, 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 flip. So I would say that if we end in the green today, tomorrow's gonna be red. SoFi. Oh, looks like it's actually trying to break out. Expansion, consolidation, potentially heading to expansion right now. I mean, if I had to trade this, if I was very conservative, I'd risk like just below 22 or maybe mid 20s or maybe just below 20, one of those 3 points. And you're just looking for the push, the consolidation, and the follow through. Be careful. You do have recent resistance and historic resistance in the mid 20s. And then you have the all-time high in the high 20s. So you might want to consider that, but actually looks kind of interesting. Well, it does look like, well, we already hit a new all-time high in the NASDAQ, and it does appear as if we are setting up for a new all-time high, at least a test of that for the S&P 500. We hit that open interest level, a little bit of profit taking. I'm looking for the follow through and for the market to battle it out at this all-time high. So I think that's what everything's going to be really focusing on today. Don't be surprised if on that first attempt, there's a bit of a smack just from profit takers. So overall, things are looking pretty good today. I know it was a little funky from 9:45 till 10 because of the Trump Truth Social message, which really wasn't anything that special. The market inverted at 10, and now we are going. So I'm hoping equities continue to rise, and I'm really hoping Bitcoin can recapture the recent high from Sunday of 122,000. I have SPY calls, I have NASDAQ calls, I have Netflix calls, I have Hood calls, I have Meta calls, and I have Bitcoin calls. So right now, you could say that I'm definitely on the bullish side of things. So hopefully that is the right side of history. Obviously, a little bit later on today, I will do an update video. Let you guys know if I make any changes or pivots or if there's any big news, I'll be covering that. And then we'll be streaming once again tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. bright and early. So update video today, stream tomorrow. And in the meantime, don't forget to sign up for public. Pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. No risk to you because it is just free to kind of check it out and see if you like it. And then when you're in there, I think you're really going to start to like those rebates. Make sure you use that link because you're going to start out at a higher rebate tier. That's what I have for you right now. I hope you guys are making a fuckload of money, and I hope you make a second fuckload of money later on today. And if not, hey, there's always tomorrow. That's what I have for you. I appreciate all the good vibes. That's it. Fat Barney out.